Hey folks, it's Dave here, and today I'm going to play a little bit of game-winning drive football from the 1979 season and just kind of give you a little idea on how the game actually plays, okay? So first off, let's do the setup. First, let's choose my team. So I'm going to take the guys right here, Miami and New England, okay? So you're going to see a lot of my hand in the way here, so I apologize. So Miami's going to be the visitor. So let me do this. So Miami's over here, and then New England is the home team. We're going to play this in Foxborough, okay? So first things first, we need to establish the roles for points scored and turnovers for each team. So let's start with Miami, okay? So we look at Miami right here, and their score rating is 11-32, okay? Now we got to look at New England's defense to do the adjustment. So defensive adjustment, so their scoring adjustments is 0. So we go back to Miami. So 11-32. So if you roll 11-32, that is going to be points scored for Miami, okay? And now let's look at our turnover. This doesn't change either. That is 33-36. 66. I always say 36. So that's got us covered. So when we roll 2 dice, we're going to have between 11 and 66. So now we know the split between points scored and non-points scored from Miami. So now let's do the same for New England. So New England is 11-34. And we look at Miami's defensive adjustment, which is -2. So this 11-34 now turns in 11-32. Okay, so I want to get my little notes here, make sure I'm doing this right. Yeah, so 11-34 turns into 11-32. Okay, so now for New England, their turnovers now, instead of 35-66, they increase to 33-66. So now we can see that it's pretty identical. So we have 11-32, 33-36. So the scoring and the turnovers are pretty much the same, or exactly the same for each team. So now what we need to do is establish what happens when each team scores, okay? So Miami, a touchdown run is from 11 to 25. The modifier for New England is +2, so the run defense is not that good for New England. So Miami goes from 11 to 25 to 11 to 31 on the run. Okay, so that means their field goal now, their first field goal shot is now 32 to 35. So 32 to 35. Okay, so now the TD pass rating is 36 to 55. We go to New England. Oh, we subtract 2. New England's got a good secondary. So 36 to 55 becomes 36 to 53. 36 to 53. And then the remaining, so now the field goal instead of 56 now becomes 54 to 66. So as you can see, we've covered 11 to 66 to see what happens when they score. Now let's do the same for New England. So New England, touchdown run is 11 to 22. The modifier is -3. So Miami had a good front line. So 11 to 22 now becomes 11 to 15. So yeah, so that's a tough break there for New England. And so now the field goal for New England, the first field goal now goes to 16 to 32. Okay, 16 to 32. On New England touchdown pass, 33 to 56. So we start with the first number, 33. But instead of 56, we look at Miami, and the pass is -1. Okay, so we go 33 instead of 33 to 56. It's 33 minus 1 to 55. And then the field goal now for New England, which is right here, instead of 61 to 66, it's going to be 56 to 66. So if you followed all that, all we've done is establish if they scored and then what happened when they scored by rolling 2 6-sided dice. So now let's go to the turnovers. So for Miami, a fumble is 11 to 15. The New England modifier is +2. So 11 to 15 now becomes 11 to 21. So now the punt for Miami. The first punt now goes to 22. So instead of 16 to 34, it's 22 to 34. Or rather, 22 to 34. Okay, now on Miami's interception, it's 35 to 45. No change. So that's going to remain 35 to 45. And then the punt will remain 46 to 64. And the missed field goal at the bottom is 65 to 66. So now for New England. Their fumble is 11 to 14. The modifier for fumble is -1. So 11 to 14 now becomes 11 to 13. Okay? And now the punt becomes, okay, we look at the punt. Now it's 14 to 33. So now the interception, 34 to 43, we add 1. Okay, so it's now 34 to 44. And now the punt would be 45 to 62. And the missed field goal for New England right here, 63 to 66. So as you can see, once again, we've covered on the turnovers all the potential rolls that could happen on the turnover. And now down the bottom here, we have some specialty things here. Punt returns and kick returns. So for Miami, there's no kick, interception, or fumble possibility. So no kick, interception, or fumble possibility to score for a touchdown. Their PAT is 11 to 63. And if you were to roll a 63, that hit the post, you'd have to roll again, and it'd have to be 32 or under to go through. They do have a chance to return a punt, 11 to 12. And if they do that, they have to roll 11 to 12 again to get that punt. For New England, oh, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the, yes, I'm looking at the right one. So now for New England, they cannot return a kick either. They cannot return a fumble. They can return an interception with an 11 to 12 roll and a 55 or less. The punt, they can return a punt. So if it's an 11, and then they have to roll 65 or under, and the PAT is 11 to 64 with 55 being the bonus roll. Okay, now fourth down modifiers. That comes into play late in the game. Okay, I'm probably not going to show that today, but you can go for it on fourth down. And basically, you just try to get points scored again. So the modifier, so fourth down, defense is -2. So we go -2 if you're Miami, and -3 for New England. So stingy defense is there. So for all intents and purposes, the score sheet is ready, and we can now start the game. All right, so that's taken us, about 6 or 7 minutes to set that up, and that's with me explaining it, so you could probably do that a lot quicker. Okay, so now we have our rolls. So we're going to put in the visitors being Miami and the home team being New England. So let's start this off. I like to start off with a roll, so I got Miami being the teal and the orange, with that being the dark dice. New England home, red and white, with that being the dark dice. So we're going to roll right here to see who gets first dibs. So that's a tie, so we'll roll it again, and it's going to be New England is going to get the ball first. So New England gets the ball first. Okay, that's how I do it. So now let's start some gameplay. Again, it goes drive by drive. So let's roll. So again, that is New England's 10s and 1s, and then the back 10s and 1s. So here we go. So New England now, they roll a 51 and a 45. So 51 falls into turnover. And 45, almost intercepted, that is a punt. Okay, now Miami actually has a chance for a punt return, so let's roll to see if they get a punt return for a touchdown. So 11 or 12 is a 10, so they do not return it for a punt return, so they just get the ball as normal. Okay, so now it's Miami's turn. It's their first drive. Okay, so they roll a 54 and a 43. So Miami, they do not score. That's a turnover. And a 43, that's intercepted. So New England picks that off. And they do have a chance for an interception return. Let me slide that up a little. So they do have a chance for an interception return. So New England's going to roll to see if they bring it back all the way. So New England picks off the pass. It's a 25. They do not bring it back. So it's New England's ball right now. Now, on a turnover, you look at the scoring numbers, okay? You increase the tens by 1. So this is now, for this drive only, is 11 to 42. My scoring chances increases because I intercepted it or had a fumble. They're going to take it as I get better field position. So for this one drive, this one roll, I get a better scoring opportunity. So now New England, with the ball, they roll a 55, and so they do not fall in it. So that's a turnover, and it's a 32. 32 is a punt. So they kick it away again. Miami with a chance to return it, though, as you look at over here. So let's see if Miami returns this one. They might. So they rolled a 12, okay? If they roll another 12 or 11, it's a punt return for a touchdown. And no, it's not. So they got a good return, but they did not score. So now Miami has it here. It's still no score here in the first quarter. Now, as you can see how this breaks down to, there's 5 possessions in the first quarter and then 5 in the second. So each team has 5 and the same in the second half. Obviously, Miami would get the ball in the second half, so we could start their drives right there. So that's kind of how you play things out. I'll do a couple of more drives. So Miami with the ball now, and so they have a 41 and a 44. So 41, no score, so it's a turnover, and on 44, it's intercepted again. Okay. So it's intercepted by New England, and they do have a small chance to return it back with an 11 or 12, and it's a 16, so they do not return it. So New England, with their second interception of the game, now rolls off this bonus number over here again. So they have 11 to 42 right now. And that's a 52, so they do not score. And that's a 63. So 52 is a turnover. 63 was a missed field goal. Okay, so New England went down and missed the field goal if you're keeping stats at home. Okay, so now Miami has the ball to kick off the second quarter. So 0-0 after 1 here in Foxborough. So no Miami with it. Miami with a 41. Let's just get to some scoring here just to show you what would happen. So Miami rolls a 21. Okay, so Miami scores. Okay, actually, no, let me fix that here. I screwed up here. So Miami rolls a 25. Okay, and they score. So look, just for purpose of this video, Miami rolls 25. That falls in the scoring range. They score. And 31. So we go to here. It's a touchdown run for Miami. Okay, so Miami with a touchdown run gets on the board. They roll for the extra point. It is a 16, and the PAT is good because it's 11 to 63. So the PAT is good, and now Miami goes up 7-0. Okay, so now it's New England's ball here in the second half. Now, just for giggles, I'm going to say New England scores. Okay, they did not, but I'm going to change it so they do. So New England rolls a 16. So New England scores in a 31. That is a field goal for New England. So New England scores a field goal, okay, and it's now 7-3 Miami. And that's how you continue on in this game, is rolling. So Miami would be up next. In fact, we can just play out the first half just for fun if you'd like to. So Miami rolls a 56 and a 64. So 56 is a turnover. 64 is a punt. Now let's see if New England returns that punt. They do not. So New England just gets the ball back as normal. Okay, so New England here is their last possession of the first half. And they roll a 31, which is a score, and a 12. And that is a TD run for New England. So they jam it in here at the end of the first half. We roll for the PAT, and it is no good. As you see right here, they need to get 11 to 64. 66 is no good, so the PAT is no good. And so New England now, so they get the field goal and 6 more, so now they lead 9-7. So it's the last play of the first half for Miami. Miami would roll. They get a 13. So Miami scores at the end of the first half with a 13. And it's a 64. And that would be a field goal for Miami at 64. So Miami goes down, answers with a field goal. And so actually Miami would take the 10-9 lead. All the scoring coming in the second half. So Miami with 10 points and New England with 9. And that's how it is. And if you want to get really kind of cool, you could do this. What I do is I roll this and I say, oh, that's a little much. Okay, that's a 36-yard field goal. I just kind of find a couple of dice and just write 36-yard field goal just for fun. And again, if you wanted to, you could go online, and print out a bunch of stats, and you could see who was the quarterback and who ran in for a touchdown. I mean, you'd have to do that on your own. If you wanted to go to some, Pro Football Reference or something like that, and say, hey, I want to see, who would, score so that, touchdown run, you could roll dice and say, hey, that was so-and-so. The field goal, we know who the kickers are. So if you wanted to keep stats, you actually could. There's a way of doing that. But for the most part, this game does not keep stats. And so now Miami would get the ball in the second half. If I did this right, New England, Miami, New England, Miami, New England, Miami, New England, Miami, New England, Miami. Yep, so now it would be Miami, New England, and go all the way down to the end of the game here. So it's 10-9 at the half. In Foxborough, the teams go to halftime. We have our Sperry halftime show. So let's go now to Brian Gumble in the studio with Jimmy the Greek and Brent Musburger and all those guys, and he'll get you caught up on all the action. But anyway, so that is some quick gameplay here, how to set up your score sheet. Again, everything is 11-66, and you go here, and again, and you look for your standard roll compared to the defensive modifier, standard roll to the defensive modifier, and that gets you some things here. There are some rules. You'd have to go here into your rule book here to go into the fourth down plays, how you could do fourth down, your onside kicks, is a few things like that. But basically, this is how you would play your game out. And at the end of the game, that's when all those onside kicks and things come in like that. So hope you enjoyed this. I'm enjoying this game quite a bit. It does play pretty quick. Once you get the setup going and you get good at doing the setup and you get that going, the game flies right through. So I might go finish this game out to see if New England can come back. They're trailing 10-9 at the half. But anyway, thanks, everybody. I'm Dave. Bye-bye.